All right, we'll go ahead and get started here. Appreciate everyone jumping on today's webinar. We're really excited to explain to everyone what this partnership is about and how Jolt has been able to help other edible operators, specifically within EAGAA. So today's topic is for the webinar is going to be how a digital solution like Jolt helps improve operations. And we're super excited to show you how we've been able to achieve that with other operators. And as you probably saw during the registration of this webinar, we will be doing a $100 Amazon gift card giveaway at the end of this webinar. So please make sure you stay tuned in until then. As far as the speakers for today, myself is David Burton, and we also have Trevor Bolter, who will be on here as well. Trevor and myself, we are the edible arrangement specialists at Jolt. So we are the two individuals specifically helping edible arrangement operators when getting started with Jolt. So our agenda for this webinar, first, we're going to focus on the tyranny of paper and specifically what operators experience as far as challenges when using paper in the operations. Second topic is going to be focused on digital food safety and how going digital can help give you peace of mind and just tighten up everything within your operations. And the third thing is going to be how easy our digital scheduling is and how this is going to, play into your business and possibly, help you save on labor and all that good stuff. And then the fourth thing we'll cover is just simply how to learn more and get on board with Jolt, just like so many others have.
Perfect. Thanks, David. This is Trevor, by the way, for all. Thanks for joining the webinar. Like David said, the first thing we want to talk about is the tyranny of paper. Some of you, I want to start with a story. Some of you might know Cheryl Bogger in Virginia. She has 6 locations. She came to us in about May 2019, so a little over a year and a half now she's been with Jolt. Some of the issues she was having before Jolt was her biggest thing were audits, not knowing if she was going to pass or fail in her locations because of visibility with paper. You're not able to see what's going on unless, as you guys know, physically in the location or they're sending it to you somehow. A lot of her tasks weren't getting done. So she was having a lot of issues or spending a lot of time in their stores, traveling. Also, a lack of accountability. And so that's kind of what we wanted to touch on. These are some of her pains, like I was saying before, with Cheryl before Jolt, temperature checks not getting completed. She also had that lack of employee accountability with daily tasks. And then a big thing for her was inconsistent customer satisfaction scores and audits as well. With Jolt, though, she's been able to complete temperature checks 3 times faster and on time and accurately. She also increased her percentage to over 90%. So in her 6 stores, 90% of their tasks are now getting done. And that's from like delivery van checklists, opening, closing, temp logs, and so on. She's also been able to increase those customer satisfaction scores. So she doesn't have to stress or worry about what's going on. We've also helped out a bunch of other operators. Some of the common challenges that they've brought up is lack of accountability, illegible handwriting, no remote visibility. Tying into that is not being able to see what's going on in your location, whether you have one or multiple, unless you're physically in there. Also, a big issue with clutter. There's certain lists that you guys need to keep for your franchise biz consultant. We found a lot are storing those in filing cabinets, in just any storage spaces, and then they come, they sift through it. With Jolt, we're able to eliminate that. Also, big thing is audit challenges, not only from your guys' franchise business consultants, but also from the health department. Keeping those documents organized, ensuring that there's accurate record accuracy, and then peace of mind around audits, knowing that you're not going to have to worry or stress, oh crap, am I going to fail it or am I going to pass it? With Jolt, you're able to know before that even audit comes. And this is our application on how we're able to solve it. You can see it over here on the right. Our app will go on an Apple or an Android tablet, or an Apple or Android phone. The nice thing about that is, as an owner operator, you could have the app on your phone and see in real time if things are or aren't getting done, hold your staff accountable. And you can see on the right here those lists, like open checklist setup, design prep, delivery van, edible to go checklist. The beauty of Jolt is it gives that employee name and timestamp for all tasks. So you're able to, anytime an employee checks it off, their name's attached to it. So it helps eliminate pencil whipping. I call it the name game, where they blame it on other people. You're able to see what's going on. We can also customize checklists for you. One of the big key things that Cheryl and other operators like is this take a photo, where you require your staff to actually take a photo of what they've done. So this one says sanitize tables, cutting machines, and dipping area, take a photo. They have to take a photo to prove to you that they actually cleaned that. So it's not just a check mark or yes, no. We also have a lot of pre-programmed edible arrangements checklists. Some of the pre-programmed ones we have are your weekly temperature logs, fit produce wash, which is a new one, van temperature logs. Big ones for operators have been this delivery van checklist, has been huge. Design area logs, fruit prep. We also have others. Those have been the bigger ones. You can also use this for inventory and other things as well, just to be able to give you that accountability for your employees. These are some of the stats that Cheryl has actually been able to achieve with Jolt. So she's been able to see about $350 in saved employee time per month, 3 times faster food safety temperature checks. Her task completion rate is up to 90%, which is awesome. And then a big thing is her managers have been able to save 6 hours a week. They're not actually living in the store. They're actually able to have a life outside of it. It's been able to relieve them a lot of stress, because if you want, you can have the app on their phone as well, so they can see it when they're not in the store. There's a really cool quote from Cheryl on the right. Says, Jolt gives me accountability and consistency, knowing my idea of clean is my employee's idea of clean. That ties into the taking the photo, training them, have it on a digital platform, which is huge, because one of the big things we find from operators is, their employees don't clean how they would want it to be clean. With Jolt, we help solve that. The next thing is digital food safety. Now, this is really big in your guys' space, because you guys have your weekly temperature logs, the fit produce wash, the van temperature logs, design area logs, fruit prep, or display cases, different things that where you're trying to keep product cold, right? You're dealing with strawberries and fruit. You can have your employees temp and write down that temperature within Jolt on a list. And the cool thing is if it spikes too high in like one of your freezers, it'll actually alert you via text message or email letting you know, hey, walk-in freezer out of range. Via text message, you can get something on it. Say the power goes out, it can alert you as well. We're able to do that through these little sensors. So you can either have them digitally write it on the list, or you can have little sensors that we provide that actually go in. You can see the guy in the walk-in. They record the temperature automatically for you guys. So 2 ways of doing it: have your staff entered in, or have a sensor that does it for you. And it actually reports via Bluetooth or Wi-Fi to a hub. So these hubs record the temperatures. They'll actually record it on a list so that if the health department or your franchise business consultant does come in, they're able to see that record, so you don't have to worry about that. It's been a big saver for a lot of operators, knowing that you always hear those horror stories of, my walk-in went out or the power went out and I lost hundreds or $1,000 worth of product. With Jolt, we're able to eliminate those fears, knowing that your product's always protected and you don't have to worry walking into that. This is a little alert that you can receive on your phone to ensure fresh food with temperature monitoring. So it says the temperature for cooler 1 in store 132 has been above 40 degrees for 32 minutes. You can set that to be 10 minutes, 15 minutes, however you want. Here's some of the things like I was telling you before. The Jolt helps monitor your walk-in cooler, display cooler, root bar temperature, federal case, van temperatures, and so on. You can also see a graph of sensors and either toggle between them, or if you have multiple locations, you can toggle between them as well. And then tying back into Jolt as well as employee training, we're really big on making easier audits and driving consistency. With employee training within Jolt, we like to take our list one step further. So, for example, if I'm an employee and I don't know how to do a task, within Jolt, you can see this little video. You can attach on-the-spot training for key tasks that you can distribute across your different lists or your different locations to streamline communication. For example, if I'm an employee, I don't know how to do something, I click this little information icon, a video pops up, I'm more likely to get that task done. Because if the owner operator's not here or if the GM's not here, I'm having to either contact them or maybe pull them away. Or kids these days, we've heard from operators, they're nervous to go talk to them. This way it gives them the peace of mind that they'll actually get it done. And you can actually show them how you would want it done, going back to Cheryl's quote. You can also store food handlers permits, surf safe certificates, or pest control verifications in what we call an information library. So we house everything in one central location. Also, a big thing with Jolt is reporting. So this is a dashboard on the back end of Jolt. So it's going to show, hypothetically, this is saying 88% of the time things are getting done, 12% of the time it's not. You can pull company-wide reports, operational excellent reports. You can filter by location. You can schedule report delivery. You can also compare those stores side by side, like you can see below, to see which stores, or if it's just one store, where your issues are and where they're not. Where with paper, you have to physically go into your location, sift through that paperwork, which can take time. A lot of stuff slips through the crack. With Jolt, we're able to find those small issues before they come big. And now I'll pass it off to David so he can talk about the scheduling portion.
Awesome. Thanks, Trevor. So yeah, third part of our agenda today, we wanted to cover the scheduling side of things within Jolt. Everyone knows scheduling is obviously a critical component within running the business. Probably outside of your food costs, labor costs is, one of the biggest expenses to run the business. Now, within our app, you're going to have your employees, I should say, will have the opportunity to actually download the Jolt app. It's a free app, so they can download it onto their smartphone. But the best part is they'll be able to communicate their availability. So they can specify, what days they can work, what times they can work, and then they can also request specific days off. That way, communication is very clear. You don't have to run into the office and look for the Post-it notes or the text messages. It's all going to be compiled in one central location for you. Another big component with our scheduling is your employees can actually swap shifts. And so if two employees need to, switch out their shifts, the management will actually receive a notification on their smartphone, and it will give you the opportunity to either accept or reject that swap. And the next slide here is really just focused specifically on how to build the schedules. And we try to keep it as simple as possible for you. The whole idea of utilizing a scheduling software is obviously to save time, be more efficient, and have communication very clear. And that's what we do with our scheduling. So it's as simple as a drag and drop interface. So you'll have your list of employees, your different shifts that you have. You can break it out by different roles. That way you can make sure you're scheduled to par. But yeah, at the end of the day, it's going to be very simple for you and make your life and your employees' lives a lot happier, I should say. So those were the big discussions that we wanted to focus on in the webinar here today. Hopefully this has shed some more light into what Jolt actually is. We've been working with Kevin and EAGAA, and we know there's been some excitement as far as, what is Jolt, right? How does it work? And we hope this has been able to answer some of those questions for you. So the next step, how to learn more, right? One thing we wanted to explain to you all is we have dedicated specific resources to EAGAA and edible arrangements. So that way, as you get your account created, it's a smooth onboarding process, so that we can get you guys up and running as quickly as possible. So you'll have an actual dedicated account manager who's very familiar with edible arrangements, and they'll help provide all the coaching and training necessary for you. So as far as the next steps with Jolt, if there's additional questions that are out there, obviously Trevor and I would love to help answer those for you. And so a couple ways you can get in contact with us is by visiting jolt.com/edible arrangements. And there you'll be able to schedule a time with either Trevor or myself so that we can answer further questions that you might have. Or you can also call our sales line, which is 877-396-4112, and you just hit extension 2. And then you'll get paired up with either Trevor or myself. So we appreciate everyone being on this webinar once again.